Raider Nation, stand up. Please stand up. The Cover 3D Raider podcast here. Dwayne Douglas, podcasting off the beautiful shores of the Pacific Ocean. And my brother, who was in the middle of the Pacific Ocean out there in Hawaii,
Yes,
Sean Oahu Raider is out there. Our text line, 858-429-9465 is the text line. We do have some questions off that text line as well. Thank you for listening to us in Butte, Montana, Atlanta, Georgia, Tallahassee, Florida, Bristol, Connecticut. Who knows? The ESPN trying to sneak up on us now.
Yeah.
San Diego, California, all those great places. Cover 3D on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Make sure you put on YouTube Cover 3D Raiders podcast so we can see all the views and everything like that. We do appreciate all you guys watching the show. I know it's busy and everybody got stuff to do, but we did taking that time really helps us out. Also on that same feed, put on Waivers podcast. You get myself, James Amano. If you're into baseball, we talk a lot of baseball on that show. It's all baseball, and then Ryan Holmes from Raider Ramble, we talk all NFL. So definitely check that out as well. But the Raiders continue this whole off-season masquerade. Sean, I'll let you go first on it. So now I'm gonna we don't know the whole inner workings of what's going on with the Rodney Hudson thing. It sounds
right.
like whether it's, I think I got USC behind me. And just one thing real quick about Keyshawn Johnson. I believe he lost a child today, so my heart goes out to him for that. But Matt Leinart tweeted out that Rodney Hudson he asked for his release from the team. Maybe they asked him to take less money. I'm not sure how that whole works. I think maybe Gabe Jackson did the same thing. There is nothing official yet. It's not official. They're not officially released yet. So who knows if they're waiting for a trade partner? Who knows what's going on there? But what are your thoughts about this situation with the Raiders?
Well, I think there's a few things. We'll have to work backwards, but if we're going to take on Hudson first, it's just I can see why they're trying to. Essentially, it seems like they asked him to restructure.
Yes.
And then also it sounds like, according to Vic, who got an article out pretty quick, sounds like he also wanted to see his boys like Denzel Good get his money, make sure Gabe comes back. He was upset that Trent Brown was traded. So there was frustration.
That one is tough. But go ahead. That one's tough.
I'm not saying I'm in agreement with all these things or I know all these things. It just sounds like there was either way, there was some frustration from Rodney, who wears, he's a captain. He's a solid leader. I mean, he checks every box for us every week. You install a game plan. You don't worry about Rodney Hudson. You're not worried about it. You have a quick Thursday night game coming off a Sunday. You're not worried about Rodney Hudson. You're never worried about the guy. So, it's a little damaging because we've seen so many stars and this happen. It's part of the business, of course. My problem is we basically wasted his prime of his career. We weren't competitive. We didn't win any big games. And so obviously for him, that's a frustrating tactic. I do get that the 2018, 2019 rookies, their contracts are going to fall off eventually too. So there may be working ahead of the clock here to try to keep stability and try to keep good players. But wow, just damaging, because I've seen other players that used to play for us around the league. They're laughing. They're on social media that they are poking Gruden, and it just shows in-house there's just not a lot of stability no matter what it is. We've seen the offensive line, a few years ago was dominant, and now we're looking at a complete kind of inner working rebuild. This offseason was supposed to be defense. Address the defense, and the offense is top 10. We'll be all right. We might need to do a little thing here or there. But now it's just kind of turned into the same circus we're used to, and it doesn't look good for potential free agents. It doesn't look good, for the fans. It's frustrating because, well, what a cornerstone piece we've had on the offensive line, and a lot of ways to look at it. But for me, it was just shocking to see how the news came out immediately. And we'll work forward. You'll talk to that, but we'll see what ends up actually happening. If he does leave and we don't get compensation, that's terrible. I don't care if you want to move on from him, fine. If you don't get compensation at all and you're just letting a player like that walk out because he doesn't want to be a part of the program, bad sign.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, it's an interesting situation for the Raiders here. And to me, VIX, it's so as far as restructuring, like you're gonna still see that money anyway. You're just pushing it down, keep kicking it down the road a little bit. Like so I guess Nick Kwiatkowski and
Littleton
and Littleton both kick some money down the road. So I mean, he could be not. I mean, that still goes against their dead cap in the future. So like if Littleton and Kwiatkowski aren't on the team next in 2022, they got to still pay that. So
right.
To me, I don't get caught up in the part of it where it's like nobody wants to come here, nobody wants to be here, all that stuff like that. I feel like, I don't know, Tom Brady and Gronk, they had a bunch of years winning with Belichick, and they couldn't wait to get out of there. I forgot the left tackle's name or right tackle's name, who can't wait to get out of the Ravens. Those are two really great winning organizations, way better than the Raiders. They've been our last 15, 20 years, they've been really good as far as that goes. I think the problem I have is, we talked about the accountability part of it last week, and we continue on that same path. I mean, Gruden doesn't have that accountability part in this whole situation, and I think that's the thing that really kind of worries me the most, because it just doesn't. What's the why he doesn't? You don't have to do this by yourself. That's why you hire good people around you. I mean, you've hired people who you 100% you trust in, without all with everything in the world. Like, you trust Gus Bradley. He works for you for a long time in Tampa. You and your wife and Matt go out to dinner all the time. Like, I mean, this is like, each other's family. Like, if you can't trust their word, like, you don't have to do everything by yourself. If you continue to keep doing everything by yourself, like, you know how that is. Like if you're at a job and you take on too much, the best thing you can do is just know when to say when. And I think that's the biggest problem with John. It's kind of his way or the highway. As far as he did not play, great football last year. They didn't run the football well last year.
Nope.
But they did not. And I think maybe because I've seen Andre Holmes play at UCLA. And I'm a Pac-12, I'm a Pac-12, Pac-10 guy. So I can't speak with confidence that he has the physical ability to play NFL center. I can't tell you that he's going to be as durable.
Andre James.
I'm sorry, Andre James. What did I say?
Yeah. Okay, I'm following though.
Yeah. Andre James. Sorry, I saw him play for years, so like I know that, like, I know the kind of player he is when he had to step in for Hudson a couple of times, because Cousin doesn't miss a freaking snap. He's always playing, whether it's hurt or not. He was able to do that same thing, so he can step in. He's versatile. Maybe he could even play a guard position. He played tackle and that. But I think the thing about it is, it's more along the lines of you want to make that move when you, the organization, want to make that move.
Yes.
You're not making the move now. They're making a move now because it seems like they're getting forced to make that move, which is not something that you want to see happen in your organization, Sean.
No, yeah, I agree with that last part. The first part I don't, about players will leave successful situations, but they've got something. They won. They have a ring. They have a ship. Darrelle Revis was like, okay, got my ring. Now I'm just going to go back to whoever will give me whatever the biggest amount of money. So there's different things to that, but the Raiders haven't accomplished anything. So there's really the loyalty, the striving to win and be something is frustrating when Hudson's got to sit here and watch great players get traded away, draft picks being wasted, free agency players from the Mac trade, all that's gone. Like, it's just lost capital. So they want to see something else happening. And I think that's what's getting, frustrated for a player like Hudson. The writing's on the wall a little bit. It didn't happen the right way. It should have. I just feel like people are caught up. Oh, he's too expensive and he's not playing as well. Oh, it's too much money. Oh, New England's spending too much money. This team's wasting money. I'm going to tell you right now, the only way you sign good players in free agency is you are paying them the top 2 to 3 out of any other team in the league. You're giving them the best offer to come play for you. If you're getting a veteran minimum deal like Aguilar and like whatever, those types of players, that's great. You can have that. But if you want the guy, you're going to overpay. It's not your money. It's the organization. Now, some of this coming into the fact that, the Raiders might be cash broke, right? The owners lost a lot of money last year and they didn't have players in the stands and the salary cap changed by 14 million. So there's a lot that needs to happen. People got to come up to the table and either commit or don't. So if that's what happened, that's fine. I just would hope for a player successful as that Rodney would get some sort of compensation for us. But if this guy walks across the division back to the Chiefs, if he's really released, which could be possible, because it sounds like he wants to win. He's not willing to restructure when he's one of the best players on the team. And people sit here defiantly defend Derek Carr because he's not part of the problem. Is Rodney Hudson the problem? No, he's
Gabe
not.
Jackson also, Gabe Jackson probably said the same, kind of scoffed at that as well. I think Gabe Jackson might not get the money that, I think Hudson might get the money. I'm not sure if Gabe Jackson will get that money. Just a latest tweet last couple hours from Licky and Kennedy, at L Kennedy 72. Hey, Rare Nation, I know you're surprised. So am I. About some of the moves. I'm hearing conflicting information, so let the dust settle and I'll be able to better assess and explain what I think the Raiders are doing. So, we'll see what happens. I do think one thing that, came about with during this whole time is, I hate the new term gaslight, but we were gaslit a little bit, especially by people who follow the Raiders. And like, if you're going to be an insider, that's fine. But don't necessarily let the nation feel like exactly what's going to happen. Like, I applaud John Johnson for doing what he did. Like, he probably took a little bit less money to go for a situation in Cleveland that he liked, but we kind of got gaslit about, hey, this is a guy who's probably going to be coming to the Raiders. Every little, you see the fake little jersey. That thing. I think we all can. I would agree. I'm not sure how you feel because I don't want to speak for anybody, but I feel like what they paid Aguilar in New England, I would have felt weird matching that. I think just me. Like, it's just me. When you break it down, it's 3 catches a game. Like, I get it. You spent money, you spent draft capital on Ruggs and Bryan Edwards. If you're going to spend that kind of money, why not just go out there and just get a better player at that position? I understand the rapport with Nelson and everything like that. And I know he had the whole thing where the leadership part of it as well, the accountability, and I do like that. But I mean, they do have other needs, and I would rather get, I think Tashawn Reed from Athletics said, basically they traded the same salary of Yannick Ngakoue, who we'll get into a little bit later, for him.
Yeah. The value is important there. Again, I just feel like, what happened with Aguilar is he got a deal to go somewhere to still be a wide receiver 1 type of role and be somewhere, and they overpaid for him. They had to. You don't sign that many players in one day if you're overpaying all of them, and that's
and they overpaid for a lot of them. Yeah, no question.
But they knew they wanted these players. They didn't want anyone else to get their fingerprint on them, so they knew they would have to overpay, and they did. And we don't know what that will mean. It looks pretty silly right now, but if they see success out of it, whatever. But the Raiders can't concern themselves with that because Aguilar was a great addition last year. Just to close my mind frame on that, the Raiders are gonna have new players come in from the draft. They're gonna have, now it looks like, another big 5-6 key free agents, in depth and back. It's just constant new people coming through the door, on a younger team, more or less. So it's just concerning that, if you're a team with the luxury of moving on from Rodney Hudson, makes a lot of sense. The Raiders, it's just creating a multitude of other things that need to go right. Cable did a great job this past season, and since he's been back here as offensive line coach under Gruden, but you're just asking him to throw things back together again, and then reliance upon who are you going to put in these holes? You can save all the money you want, but now it's like we got Yannick, which is huge, great pass rusher. Like we checked the box, but we still need a free safety. We still could look at, are we going to keep Morrow or draft or get another linebacker? What are we going to do? So it's just concerning to me that if we're that close, like a lot of people think this team is close. I don't know how we are if we're already addressing holes that we thought were good. Now we're back to, I mean, where is the strong point on this team? It's crazy, man. I don't know.
Yeah. So Rodney Hudson in his career, since 2015, 3,445 pass blocking snaps, and it was only three sacks allowed. Since 2000, let's see here, 2005. His last year was his worst year PFF grade. Like if you go for PFF grades,
yeah, it was.
It says it's 70. So listen, I mean, listen. If it was more, I don't listen to very many podcasts, but I do kind of respect the impartiality of Vic Tafur. So like he kind of tells it like it is. So he talked about, and he and Tashawn Reed talked about. It's funny how this happened this week, because Vic literally said everybody in the building loves Andre James. If they were going to make a move on the offensive line, I'm surprised that the money that the person who they would cut would be Rodney Hudson on their very last podcast. And then this happened this week. So it was kind of weird that it's kind of funny that it happened this week after he said that, as far as that goes. But like, I would say, I'm just going to speak to the center position. I can't tell you that, like I said before, I can't tell you that James is going to be as durable, is going to play all those games. What I can tell you is he's only 24 years old and the kid can really play.
Yeah.
Like he can really play. And I think, especially in what they want to go to more of a zone blocking scheme.
Yes.
I think that's where, and then that's all for Josh Jacobs. Like Josh Jacobs is better in that than he is in the power. And I want to see, let's just see what all we can do is take a wait and see approach, right? I thought today was going to be like a safety day. The safeties are not going to come off the board. Yesterday when everybody was signing, I said, in my head, I wrote down a note. I said, you know what? Hey, I know what I wrote down defensive end and free safety. Let me know when those people start coming off the board, then I'll get worried. then I'll get worried. When Josh Johnson went to the Browns, I was like, okay, all right. So I went off the board. So as long as they have an opportunity to get one of those guys, I think that the top of the line guy is the kid from Minnesota. I mean, he's phenomenal. So if they can get him, that solidifies that part of the defense. I think that offensively, I do trust Cable to get things done. They're going to get people in there. I think they're probably looking. I know it's a boring first round pick, and nobody wants to see a tackle in the first round, but it looks like that might be a possibility on the right side. As far as what goes in the middle, they picked up Simpson. They picked up Incognito could come back on a deal. He grades out very well in zone blocking, especially and when they do go power, he pulls very well. He is 38 years old, so you got to make sure you have a contingency plan for that as well. So it's not like he's a spring chicken as far as that goes. I think they got to clear up some things with him and Yannick Ngakoue too. I think you pointed that out in our text thread.
Supposedly they already squashed
it. Oh, okay.
Yeah, which is
so
good. Yeah.
So as far as that goes, I'm not trying to put any positive spin. I just try to say what reality, what the reality is, is. But part of the reality is, the owner needs to put his foot down, because they cannot have another season like they did last year.
And that's the point I'm trying to make, Dwayne, is if you have the luxury to do that, to revamp your entire offensive line in an off season, essentially, that's great. But the Raiders they have to win now. Like, you cannot go into year 5 and still not be in the playoffs, like under the circumstances. So this is crazy to me. That's why I'm like, the timing is like, okay, Trent Brown, we knew, everyone knew that was done. and that's fine. That made sense.
12 games in 2 years. Like, come on, like something
Right,
like
right.
that.
No,
So,
yeah. You know, I do like how we have a capable center that can come in that's younger and more cost effective. That's great. You know, Hudson, he was a warrior. You know, we're just like literally right now, our left guard is Lester Cotton, our right guard is John Simpson. We have James at center and Brandon Parker at right tackle, and your left tackle is Colton Miller. And so you literally, I mean, that's what you're looking at until they address, and maybe Kyle Long becomes something. I think they let him walk around and then shop a little bit as they should. I thought he was going to leave Las Vegas, so we'll see what happens there. But the offensive line is not only critical to, you know, elevate Josh Jacobs, but also get those plays downfield that Carr was making to Aguilar and Ruggs at times. We need those big chunk yards. Carr needs to be protected that way. Getting the ball out quick is good, but not always necessarily the best result. So they need to be able to protect well, and they need to be able to start running the ball. So the red zone isn't relying upon just finding those small, tight windows to throw it in. So, you know, it is what it is. We'll see what happens. But for me, I'm concerned. I'm concerned because it was just supposed to be focused on the defense and we'll be fine. And now those tweaks on offense could cost us. What if James pulls up a bad Achilles or one of these guys gets hurt? And now you're like, okay. Like it just to push all your depth forward to starters and potentially move things around a bit is hard. And let's just remember, people weren't in the stands and the crowds last year. Now you're talking about there's going to be louder stands and crowds. There's going to be checks at the line of scrimmage. Do all these guys know what Carr wants them to do? So it's a big challenge, but you know, it's a part of the game and it's business.
Yeah. Turnover definitely is a part of the game. And I think he was like, I said, listen, the one thing I wanted to mention too is like the whole demand part of it, like him demanding that, you know, hey, Trent Brown stay. Well, I mean, that's like to me,
already happened. Yeah.
It already happened. But
he was upset.
It was upset. And I think my thing is like, you know, you can't really, it's hard for me to say, okay, I'm going to back Trent Brown to come back another year. Like,
no,
I mean,
I agree.
There's no way. As far as Denzel Good goes, Denzel Good is going shopping. And if you see something that, you know, if somebody wants to give him more money than what the Raiders are, then he'll leave. If not, then he'll be back. I think he's a good piece. So until those pieces sign away, I'm not gonna wave the right flag right now. The Raiders don't have a game tomorrow. Yeah. So I mean, so as far as I go, I'm not gonna go crazy about that part of it. I just, you know, like I said, like I know everybody's gonna go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs because this is not like, I'm not dissing the Jaguars, but the team itself, but like our fans are way more passionate than a lot of other teams. And, you know, the Raiders haven't gotten it done in a long time. So we're still waiting for them to get that right as far as that goes. Yannick Ngakoue. So this is a player who it seems like the Raiders he's only 25. So the Raiders have been trying to get this player forever, right? You know, we've been rumored for forever for that. On the Put on Waivers NFL show, you know, my partner Ryan Holmes said something that I thought of immediately was, this is the best speed rusher we've had since Derek Burgess. And Derek Burgess is one of my absolute favorite Raiders.
He was so good.
He was so off the edge. You could forget about third down. I felt bad. I almost felt bad for the tackle. In those situations, one of the leaders in pressures, one of the leaders in forced fumbles, all those things like that. A really good piece. And I do think that people are freaking out about, like, what does it mean for Max Crosby? Like,
nothing.
Listen, they're gonna get. He's like, there's so many third downs and so many second and longs. Like, having depth on a defensive line is a good thing. And the one thing I'll say before you go, Sean, is Ernie Accorsi, the former GM of the Giants. He used to always say the same thing. When you think you have enough pass rush, go draft more pass rush. Go add more pass rush to free agency. Yeah. Thoughts about Yannick Ngakoue joining the Raiders?
A great signing, and we got out early, got him done. Essentially, it's a 1 year, $13 million deal. Like, it's all loaded for him to be. It's almost like a franchise tag. We got him in. No, we spent the money, and a player that we all talked about on the show we wanted to trade for before the trade deadline. He's in-house. Pass rush is what we need. He's not a very good. He can play to run, but that's not his strength. But we just need someone that can come off the edge and cause a quarterback to move up, left, or right. And that'll create for Max Crosby. So that'll help. They can play opposite of one another. There's going to be different packages. Gus Bradley's going to make it simpler and make sense, right? We're not going to be trying to put everyone everywhere. What it does mean,
he played for him before.
right? And what it does mean, yeah, in Jacksonville. But what it does mean is that it's the writing on the wall for Cleveland Farrell. He'll be pushed inside on pass downs to rush the passer inside. I don't think he's going to get as much snaps outside. They admitted a failure there. They bring in a high rated pass rusher. That's great. They still should think about adding other ones if they can afford it. But it's starting that'll help the linebackers. That'll help our secondary that's young, but I think is pretty capable overall if we had a free safety. But Yannick was nice. It was refreshing. I'll just say it was refreshing to see us finally solidify. I don't know, people get lost in words, but I would say an elite pass rusher. Like, we solidified one, we got one, and now we'll just have to add around him on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I like about it is, like, did the Raiders actually sign a player in their prime, Sean? Like,
that too, yeah. He's younger. Yeah, it doesn't happen often.
Doesn't happen often. So as far as that goes, I was happy to see that part of it. And I'm really, like, I mean, he can play, he can ball, and I think that Calais Campbell,
yeah,
I do like what he said. Like, he said, y'all got a real one, and like he really is a guy who. A guy who could really get things done for the Raiders, and and it just helped the pass rush. Like, I mean, it's just like, it's basically like, if it's a baseball team and then you're a big slugger, and you have no big slugger in the lineup, so you're batting pieces where they don't belong in the lineup, and then all of a sudden you get Barry Bonds, or you get you get Mark McGwire, or you get one of those guys in the lineup. Hopefully no steroids. But I mean, like, it's going to only help Max Crosby on third down. Crosby, you want to put Hurst there too, and then you have Farrell and Dockway. I think it makes a really big deal for the Raiders here. I think it really looks like a good situation for them.
Yeah, I mean, like, basically, my confidence level will go through the roof if they get an interior defensive tackle that can really disrupt inside. Of course, we thought that was going to be Malik Collins. That didn't happen. By the way, he signed a $6 million deal elsewhere. So
he can steal money somewhere else.
So, and that's fine. But we, in all seriousness, is it very important to get some push up the middle, because Ngakoue can do whatever he wants coming off the edge, but if he's the only prevalent pressure, it's still not going to help us out tremendously as much as we'd like. But if we can get some push and some rush up inside, Gus Bradley is not a guy that likes to blitz, so we're going to need whatever that 4-man rotation is, they're going to have to get it done. So I think we still have work to do there. And that's what opens my eyes to having this cap is, you can still use the draft to supplement players as well. But I think it's time, in my opinion, to for sure add another pass rusher, interior, or just an edge again. But I think you hit it on the point. You just have to you need a group of those guys. Like, look at the Niners defense a year ago. I mean, they just had like 7-8 guys that were like getting to the quarterback, so, no, and then they're all fresh. If they all can do it well, they're all fresh. So you can just,
listen, to me, the move makes all the sense in the world for everybody involved. And he is, I mean, his him against the Raiders, putting a running back and Jalen Richard and Waller against them, he destroys that. He probably single-handedly won this game for them in this one against in the last game in Oakland.
Last game in Oakland.
Last game in Oakland. And the guy can play. So I'm excited about that. As hustle, does all those things. Not afraid to really go after the quarterback, and in the fourth quarter you're gonna need it, especially in this defense. This three deep.
Yes.
this cover three where you're not going to blitz a lot. You're not going to blitz a lot, and
No.
you need a guy of his caliber to come through for the Raiders and make things happen in the defensive backfield as far as that goes.
You know what's scary about that, Dwayne? Sorry, I'm gonna cut you off. You know what's scary though? Some people are talking about it. I know because COVID and things, but has anyone seen him sign a contract?
Well, nothing's official until
it
until
takes
that
some
day.
time, but
Yeah.
everyone's it is kind of funny. But yeah, I think getting that guy in house is we got a defensive star, and we can't really speak for much about anything else on the defense side of the ball. But he's going to be the key that will start helping everything else come together for sure.
Yeah, I think that if something was fishy going on, that one of the national guys, like
probably
Rappaport or somebody like that, I think it's all. I think it's all good.